Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of Slinging Dirt. On this week, we're going to talk about the unfortunate passing of Bryan Clauson.
Yeah, that's going to be a really big hit, not only with the USAC community, but the entire racing community.
Yeah, anything from dirt track racing to, shoot the Indy 500, Indy cars, NASCAR. He was huge. We're going to talk about unidentified flying objects. This is getting out of control at times. I mean, some of the stuff that we've seen, wow.
It's one of these deals that if it's preventable, it's preventable.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about our weekend racing recap. And then, of course, Songer says, so stay tuned. It's Slinging Dirt. Hey everybody, welcome back to Slinging Dirt. I'm Buddy Ray.
I'm Matt Dennis, everyone.
Sad news out of Belleville High Banks last week. Bryan Clauson, driver of the 17W, is either 17W or 63.
I think it depends on what class, what sanction he's in.
Regardless, he was in a midget, rolled, was hit, airlifted to Bryan Hospital in Lincoln, Nebraska, where unfortunately, his young life came to an end due to the injuries. You talk about rocking the racing world to its core.
Yeah, just the wreck in itself was a big deal for everybody, but then hearing the news Monday morning that he actually had succumbed to his injuries, I'm sure everybody that has racers on their page, just every post, every other post is rest in peace, Godspeed. Like I said, this is going to be a huge hit to the entire racing world, whether it be from his USAC to sprints to Indy, NASCAR, yeah.
Being a former.
He ran 26 NASCAR nationwide events, led 3 laps at the Indy 500 this year,
Yep.
and finished 23rd. If I remember right, 112 career wins in the midgets, which put him 4th or 5th on the all-time leader list.
5th all-time. He was such a humble guy. I never got the chance to meet him or get to know him. But when you look at his fiance's page, when you look at his parents' page, Bryan Clauson Racing, it was evident how many people that he touched in racing. A lot of people really looked up to him.
He was definitely one of those racers that no matter what he had going on with his car, somebody walks up and wants to talk, he'll stop and talk, especially if it's a fan, especially a young fan.
Oh yeah.
He'd do what he could to make that kid's day, night, whatever it is, that much more memorable.
Yeah, the racing world has truly lost a true legend in every sense of the word. I do want to not really switch gears, maybe shift gears a little bit here. The other person that we can't forget in this tragedy is the other driver. In my opinion, as a driver, you cannot forget the other driver that collided with Bryan Clauson's car. My heart goes out to him and his family because I would never want to be in that position. I've never been in that position, and I hope I never am in that position.
That's something that nobody wants to deal with. Whether you're the one that was hit or the one that did hit. In an event like this, that's something nobody needs to deal with, wake up with, live with.
No.
And unfortunately, Bryan's wreck is out on the internet. It's been posted quite a bit. And I don't think that really needs to be posted all the time, because now the other driver, every time he sees it, he has to relive that exact moment.
Yeah, when he's already feeling as bad as he does, when his whole family is feeling as bad as I'm sure they are after what happened, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's just a constant reminder, you can never forget what happened yourself. And we talked about this, the only thing, now we might switch gears a little bit. With the social media, we've seen a lot of tracks banned, taking photos and videos. Jim Steffens, he won't take photos and videos, you had mentioned.
Right.
Just because of instances like this. But at the same time, I've actually seen where, it doesn't matter what class, what track, what series, but a couple of drivers will get into it. Now, nobody will pass away, nobody will be injured, but cars will get tore up and totaled and destroyed or whatever. And all of a sudden, you got driver A's fans threatening driver B's fans, because instead of video or photos, all of a sudden the rumor mill explodes, and one driver was driving into the other driver on purpose and yada, yada, yada. And so in my opinion, I do agree that the video doesn't need to be replayed all the time. Maybe just have one video out there, where if you want to see what happened, that's fine. But I do think that can let the rumor mill die right away. That way nobody can go, well, this guy was doing this and this guy got into so-and-so. It's right there. You can see what you did and see what happened. But at the same time, I totally agree with you. The driver that got in with Brian, he doesn't need to see it all the time. I mean, he's got to live with that.
He had a first-hand look at what happened, and unfortunately, you can't erase the memory.
And I want to specify here as a driver.
There was nothing done wrong
No.
whatsoever on the track.
No, Brian had actually just taken the lead at the USAC Nationals, and from the reports that I was reading, he had just taken the lead, was behind a lapped car that had kind of squeezed him up towards the wall, and on a midget, on a sprint car, everybody knows the right rear tire is massive on these. And all it takes is one bump into the wall with that thing to send somebody tumbling, and unfortunately, that's what Brian's incident was.
Yeah. There was no roughhousing, nobody, just driving into somebody, nothing like that. And honestly, at this level where Brian's racing out with these midgets, you don't have a lot of slouches out there. No. These guys are professional drivers. We were talking before we came in the studio. He was on track to hit, I think he said 200 races was his goal this year.
His goal was to make 200 races this year, and the USAC Nationals was 117.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Here it is, as of today's date when we're recording, it's August 8th, 9th, something like that.
8th.
Yeah, after a 3-day weekend on the road, I've kind of forgotten what date it is, or what day it is. I know it's Monday morning. But with that being said, our sincere condolences and prayers go out to Clausen and his family, and then the other driver's family. I think that it doesn't upset me, that just concerns me more. Everybody is there sending their condolences and prayers to Brian Clausen and his family and his fiance, but I haven't seen a whole lot sent to the other driver.
Right.
And that, God forbid it, I've never killed anyone, thank God. And I don't ever want to be in that situation. But it doesn't matter if it's a big name like a Brian Clausen or if it's just your average Saturday night racer. If I was to ever seriously, paralyze or kill somebody, I'd have to, there's no way I could climb back in a race car. I can't even imagine what that poor guy is going on the other end. And I just have not seen a lot of support for that guy, and we can't forget him. So,
and this can lead us into one of our topics later on in the show. Is it doesn't have to be a wreck that makes somebody stop and think. I mean, it could be anything out there on the track.
Oh yeah, wait till you folks hear what we're going to be talking about here in a little bit.
But unfortunately, in this circumstance, with Brian's passing, there's nothing that can be done about it. But with this next topic, there's a lot that can be done about it and needs to be done about it.
I tell you what, if you would like to send donations, cards, etc., you can send your prayers, your thoughts, donations, contributions to the following address here, and the Clausen family will end up receiving such items. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back here on Slinging Dirt.
Joe's Karting is the Metro's fastest indoor karting facility. Come to Joe's to experience speed, join the competition, and ride the fastest indoor track around. Our professionally designed indoor karting track is perfect for arrive and drive racing, race classes, and racing competitions. We offer affordable pricing options, membership packages, event outings, and so much more. Stop in today to get registered for your next race, and don't forget to like us on Facebook for deals, giveaways, and more. Visit us online at joeskarting.com.
Well, now, on to, well, just as serious a subject here on Slinging Dirt this week. Unidentified flying objects. I don't know about you, but this is getting out of control this season.
You mean like them flying saucers and E.T.?
Yeah. But seriously, this year, we've seen 50-pound weights flying off cars. I've seen bumpers, sheet metal. You know, the occasional bumper's bad enough. Sheet metal, we see that all the time. I mean, you go to any track with a modified and you're liable to see something flapping away in the wind there.
The one thing I haven't seen flying around this year is an air cleaner.
You know what, that's a good point. Every year I see at least one or two of them. Every year. And they look like flying saucers.
Yep.
But this year it seems like there's just weird things just flying off cars. Look at this picture, folks. This is a door bar through a windshield.
Off of a full body car, stock car, hobby stock. How the hell does a door bar fall off a full body car, people?
And go through the windshield. Thank God the driver wasn't hurt. Look at the picture. It looks like it went right through the passenger side of the windshield. When I showed that to you, we both had to do a double look at it. Like, seriously? The things that you see. But our car has nailed a 50-pound chunk of lead. In fact, you took a chunk of the lead right out of the frame rail.
I did.
And if you go look at my car, I'm sure I can find you a picture of it. There, right where the frame comes down, turns out, and then comes back on the right side, right where the 3-inch body hole is, that's a pretty stout part of the frame right there. And when it completely collapses that in and shears it back like a pop can, I mean, we talked about it a few weeks ago. You know, make sure your weights are bolted down secure. But I'm like you, I still cannot get over the fact. And it's not like it was a 3-foot piece of tubing.
Right, and
It looks like it's 5 or 6 foot long.
you got your panel braces, whether you're using spring steel, plastic, aluminum, whatever. You've got your panel braces that'll break and fall off. That's common. Nothing you can do about that. You got a door panel or a quarter panel that falls off. There's not much you can do about that. But a door bar still baffles me.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine what the guy thought when it came through the front of that car. If it would have been 3 feet farther over, it would have been through his chest.
Or his helmet, or whatever. I mean, it would have been deadly for the guy.
If it was me, I would have walked around every single car and I would have found where it came from and I would have politely handed it back from 5 feet away.
Yeah.
I mean, that is completely uncalled for.
Now, if there was something where there was it was a racing incident and a couple cars got into each other, or 3 or 4 of them, you know, that's not uncommon. 3 or 4 cars get into each other and one rolls or something like that and it comes off. Okay, makes perfect sense.
Right.
But this sounds, from what I've seen and what I was reading, it sounds like this happened during the feature under race conditions. You know, and I don't know, we're probably 3 foot up off the ground here, so you go up to about 4 foot off the ground. Well, then right here's your windshield for a hobby stock, and you got something 5 foot long, 4 foot up in the air, parallel to the ground, like a spear going through the windshield. You said, about how in the hell?
Right.
I mean, good Lord.
And something else I actually found, and I actually found it at the Silver Dollar Nationals nonetheless. You guys need to check your cars before they roll out for the heats and features for tools, screwdrivers, wrenches,
Yes.
water bottles, whatever. I found a brand new 3/4 Craftsman wrench in the track at the racetrack that night.
Marietta, Kansas. You weren't at the drivers' meeting.
Nope.
At the drivers' meeting, Thunderhill Speedway, I believe the promoter, I believe his name is Jim or Mike. He was really nice about it. He literally, in his hand, had a Craftsman half-inch drive impact that fell off of a car during the feature. It got ran over and was destroyed. But how do you miss an impact sitting on your car? Now, if you've got a modified or a late model with a chrome deck and you got the silver chrome wrenches or something, I might be a little, accepting of that. I'm not saying that it's right, but I can see how you can miss it. And I've actually seen guys that have wrenches that are black. We have a black deck, you put a black wrench on the black deck, and if the sun hits the deck just right and it's sitting in the shade, it's going to be easily overlooked.
Well, and on modifieds and late models especially, because they have the smaller pillars on the front roof posts, if you've got a wrench or a screwdriver, screwdrivers roll.
Yeah.
And they can roll right down on the deck into that corner where those posts are. And we went through that Saturday night.
Yep.
I didn't realize there was a screwdriver on the car until he pointed it out sitting in the cockpit. So just little things like that. Drivers can look around on the front of the deck and the side of the deck when they're in there, but it's up to the crew to walk around and check the rest of it.
We've,
Because that screwdriver, let's say it falls off, bounces off the track, now you're looking at a 90-mile projectile at you.
oh yeah, I was just getting ready to say, you may think, well, it's only a half-inch wrench or it's only a little 6-inch screwdriver. Like you said, it falls on the track and somebody goes over that, tire hits it, spins it up. Next thing you know, we don't have a Slinging Dirt next week because I've got a screwdriver in the eyeball. And that's not making a joke out of it. That's the God's honest truth, folks.
Right.
Make sure the stuff is picked up on the track. The guy down there doing the pit meeting at Thunder Hill in Marietta, Kansas, he was very professional about it. He was very nice about it. But I think he said that was the second or third week in a row that's happened. Come on, people. I mean, it's crazy. The stuff flying off cars, you're finding them on tracks. Fred Lauer, our other crew guy, he actually found a brand new receiver on the track one night after the races. Brand new. Seriously.
And I've seen that before too. Clip breaks, falls off your belts wherever you got it mounted.
Yep.
So I've seen that. It's not really uncommon, but it's still going to hurt when you get hit with it. And it's going to cost somebody $100 to replace it.
Now, so I did have this happen, and I got to put this out there because somebody's liable to call me out on it while we're talking about this. We were at Harlan last year, end of the race season. My door bar right behind my left rear shoulder, we have a GoPro mounted right there. The track wasn't really smooth. It wasn't ruddy. It wasn't really all that bad. It had some whoop-de-doos in it. And I think I had made some minor contact with somebody. Well, that GoPro, the plastic mount that goes around the roll bar, it broke right there. Fortunately, what happened to the GoPro, you got to see the footage this thing took. It fell off, ended up in the center of the track in turn 2 at Shelby County Speedway, and the light was still blinking, recording. And it recorded for a long time. I got the late models to look like the little digger can in NASCAR. It was pretty impressive. If I could find that footage, I'll have to share that here on Slinging Dirt, but I don't know if I can find the memory card right now. But I know some guys are like, well, you got to make sure that's secure. Well, you take one good hit and a little plastic bolt-on thing's gonna pop off.
One of the teams I was with prior to this was, we had a GoPro on there. Had a photographer, hey, can I put the GoPro on there? That's not a problem, but you mount it. Because if it falls off, I'm not liable.
Right.
He put it on there, damn thing fell off. Shattered this camera, but the card was savable. It didn't break the card, but it destroyed a $400 camera.
What was the footage like on that card?
Never seen it.
Oh, never seen it. Okay.
Nope. He took it home and did his production stuff with it, and I don't know.
Oh, yeah. All I know is we've seen several instances, tools being left on cars. The stuff is flying back up into the cars, air cleaners. You are right. We haven't seen one yet this year, but I'm sure some of you out there have seen air cleaners come off. Make sure those things are really bolted down tight with that carburetor stud. A 5-foot door bar, unless it happened during a wreck, there's no excuse for that. None whatsoever. A 50-pound chunk of lead falling off a car. No excuse whatsoever.
Right.
It actually makes me wonder if anybody ever claimed that 50-pound chunk of lead. So if it's not, hell, I could use it. Puts more rear percentage in the car.
We're good on setup.
Yeah. So I tell you what, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. If you guys are watching and listening, tell us what you've seen fly off cars. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen? For us, it's the 5-foot door bar, or what looks like a door bar. So we'll be right back here on Slinging Dirt.
Does your car smell as bad as Jamie Songer does? Come on down and we'll take care of you. Well, we're gonna scrub all your vinyl, we're gonna clean all your seats, your carpet, everything. We're gonna put a conditioner on it, make a nice shine. It's gonna last for a long, long time. Then we're gonna hit the outside of your car. We're gonna do a nice hand wash with a buff with a nice hand wax finish. Call us at 282-4339.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff with DriveDirtCars.com. Does your current race operation look like this? Well, if it does, give us a call at 815-990-2657. We're actually financing Harris race cars and CMC crate motor connection crate motors for your racing operation. Our payments range anywhere from $200 to $350 a month. If you'd like to get a new motor or you'd like to get a new chassis, give us a call, 815-990-2657.
Race fans, tighten down those belts. Malvern Trust and Savings Bank is bringing the horsepower with 2 separate shows this week to Adams County Speedway. This Thursday, August 18th, is the first of the 2 shows with the United States Modified Touring Series and the hunt for the Casey's Cup. Watch as U.S. MTS drivers vie for their share of $3,000 to win, with B-Mods and Hobby Stocks vying for $1,000. The horsepower continues to roll on this Saturday, August 20th, with the Super Late Model Racing Series. Watch as some of the biggest names in the SLMR Series battle out for $2,000 in the late models, with Modified scrambling for $1,000 to win. Pro Stocks $700 to win, B-Mods and Hobby Stocks $500 to win, and Compacts $200 to win. A bank with horsepower, and horsepower you can bank on. Malvern Trust and Savings Bank is the official bank of dirt track racing. Well, 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 it's that time of the week again for the almighty, the one and only, Jamie Songer. That's right, Jamie Songer, the promoter, the head honcho, the head cheese of the Supreme Enduro Series. Not the Iowa Enduro Series, the Supreme Enduro Series. Just wanted to clarify that. Sounds like he's done for the year racing. His car was junk. I don't know. His car was junked. Don't know exactly what happened. Matt and I haven't seen Songer, haven't talked to him about it. Songer was pretty upset about it. Just kind of let him do his Songer Madden rule. Let him have 3-4 days cool off before. Yeah. But we haven't seen the Songer video, and I know there's a video about it. And so for the first time, we're gonna see this video. And I can only imagine that this Songer Says video has got something to do about dumb driving. So I could be wrong, but so here it is, Songer Says.
Warning, the related content may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alright, so lately there's been a few tracks that for some reason, I don't know how in 100-degree weather, but it's hammered down, sloppy, muddy. That's not racing to me. I run 200 lap enduros, put them on, and we do not make it a sloppy mud fest. We let it go dry, and the drivers come out. You gotta save your tires, you gotta do everything to make it. So the same with the frickin', I can put anybody in a car, go out, hold it to the floor, and turn the corner. As long as the car's set up somewhat decent, and they can somewhat hold the wheel, they're gonna be fast. So this flying into the corner wide open, bouncing off everybody, not giving a shit, and moving your way to the front, driving through people ain't fast. Just saying. When it's slick, you gotta feather it in there, you gotta get the car set. Once it's straight, start picking up the throttle, and you're actually doing something to drive the car. You're actually showing some talent. But this hammer down, and the biggest thing is, the biggest race of the year is on hammer down track. I don't get it. That's not a racer. I understand the fans don't want to see dust, but you can get dry slick without dust. You just got to work at it. If we're going to put all this effort into prepping a track 30, 40 times, try and prep it so it'll go dry and be 2 lanes. That's the other thing. Most hammer down racetracks are 1 lane, single file, follow each other. It's boring. I don't get it. But, these guys who just repeatedly run tacky tracks and think they're fast, I don't get it. And maybe they are. Maybe I'm wrong. But to me, that's not racing. Racing is having to worry about when you get that car in that you're not going to overstep the gas, or you're not going to forget that you better whoa it going into the corner. And then you can't bounce off everybody. Have some respect for other people's equipment. Maybe you people don't have a job and you don't mind fixing your car all month. I don't know. I'm tired of fixing mine from jackasses who just drive through everybody, wreck you, and somebody's slower than them in front. They just move them. Part of racing is figuring out how to get by them without wrecking them. This has been the worst year I've ever seen for torn up stuff. And we're all sitting around wondering how we're going to save racetracks, how we're going to save racing because of the low car counts. The low car counts are mainly responsible to jackasses driving through each other, and the cars are junk, and now we're losing them. Come on, folks, let's use our heads.
Good old Jamie Songer. You never know what he's going to say. A good chunk of the time, Matt and I have seen the videos. And so we know what he's talking about. But this weekend we had a 3-day racing vacation, I guess you'd call it. Well, I don't know if you'd call it a vacation by any stretch of the imagination, but it was still fun. But with Songer's topic, we didn't see it before we came in the studio. He said that there was going to be a Songer Says about this, so you're seeing it. But I've always said, and you've said it, he's always got a good point when he does a Songer Says.
Right.
And I've actually had some of you fans out there come to me and say, well, can Songer do something a little bit more uplifting, upbeat? Not very many of them, but a few of you have. Songer is not going to sit there and sugarcoat things. He's going to tell you straight up how it is, straight from the hip.
And he's always been that way, and sometimes that's the best way you have to be.
Yeah, not be the Buddy Ray, I'll give you the last thread from the last shirt. Yeah, he's found out the hard way. I'm maybe too nice.
We'll just say I had to step in and correct the problem.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about the 3-day weekend. You know, the Council Tucky Express, boy, that just, PJ Pedersen, you nailed that one. I mean, you hear all these redneck jokes about Council Bluffs, Iowa. That truck, good God. I mean, yeah, it's truly the Council Tucky Express. It runs good, but that's all we're going to say about the truck for right now. But Friday night, went to Denison, Iowa, finished 5th in points on the season. which I do believe is an all-time best for me. Saturday night, went to Mayetta, Kansas. You love Mayetta. You could not wait to get to Mayetta.
I wish Mayetta was about 2 hours closer.
Yeah. Holy banking. All I know is we drive up to the track. You know, we come around the front straightaway. We drive around 1 and 2, and I'm looking at the track. And I'm like, okay, it's pretty big, pretty damn big. And then I remember we had unloaded the car, and you walked with me over to turn 3. And I remember walking up to turn 3, and this is no joke. I thought I was at the Grand Canyon, because you see the track is going out, and then you don't see the track. All you see is the infield. And so the best way to describe it, and I described it to a friend of ours from Colorado, it's like the track surface is 100 foot wide. I mean,
Right, and that's no
good
joke.
Lord.
That's literal. It's literally 100 foot wide, whether it be the straightaway or it be the corners.
Yeah, 100 foot wide. The first 50 foot from the inside to the middle of the track, it really doesn't have banking to me that really stands out. It's from that 50 to 100 foot to the high side. You know, the track's kind of like this on the first 50 foot, but the next 50 foot's about like that. It's 45-degree angle.
I was gonna say, I bet it's every bit of 35 to 40 for sure.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
And that's why those guys down there carry so much speed.
That to me, they have really, really, really good drivers down there. You've got guys like Austin Charles in the Sport Mods current track points leader. You got Kansas racing legend Tom Charles racing there.
You got Josh Bloomer running
Josh
down
Bloomer, he was down there. A lot of really, really good cars. George Grabowski was down there.
there. Yeah, he was actually running Dylan Smith's GRT car this weekend
Yeah.
down there.
So no slouch of drivers, but some of the rookie drivers that are there, the one thing I think the track does hurt them with is it's very misleading. When you go into the corners, just how fast you're honestly going. You know you're hauling the mail. And I would imagine that some of these IMCA modifieds going into the corner at Thunder Hill have got to be doing all of $110 going into the corner. Some of these sport mods have got to be doing close to 100, 105. I mean, it was incredible. It's a fun track, very, very fun track. The only side note here, only racetrack I've ever seen that does not sell cheeseburgers or hamburgers. I've never heard of it. Their Polish dogs are good, but the hamburgers and cheeseburgers, they don't sell them. I was like, really?
And one thing with Thunder Hill, and I don't know if a lot of people realize this or not, is the gear range. You can run anything from a 486 all the way to a 543 with a crate motor.
So you have a 486, 488, 50, 514, 529, 543. I ain't kidding you, it's literally all of 7 lanes wide. And that's full race speed. I mean, the track is incredible. But you have 6 gear choices. If you can't find a gear to run Thunder Hill, then you ain't looking very hard enough, or you just don't want to race hard enough.
Right.
That's it.
And this was your first time not only racing, but even seeing it
Oh yeah.
outside of pictures.
Outside of pictures, you know, and I've seen a few videos here and there, but you know, it's not hard to take a camera, go look at a small track and make it look like it's huge, and it's not hard to make a huge track look like a small track. So Mayetta is massive, and it's fast, and it's fun, and once again, people were friendly,
Well, and
very accommodating.
another thing that to kind of draw people in is when you get done, there's a casino a mile away. And if you get done soon enough, you can take your wristband into the Players Club and they'll give you, what,
20 bucks.
20 bucks for free players.
And it's not just Mayetta, Heartland Park, Topeka.
Correct.
Yeah, if you take your wristbands from the pits or your ticket stub from the grandstands, either one, you get into the Players Club. When you go into the casino right there, I cannot remember the name of the casino, Prairie Bend.
Yes.
Prairie Bend Casino, you go into the Players Club, you have to be there before 1 in the morning, you just turn in your wristband or your ticket stub. They give you $20 on a player's card. They're not gonna give you $20 cash, they put it on a card and then you just go gamble with it. How brilliant is that?
Right.
Kind of shocked us when we first pulled up to the parking lot. the amount of toters and race cars and the haulers that we saw there.
Yeah, there was, I think, seven or eight haulers when we pulled in, and
Yeah.
I mean, we went in, found a restaurant, grabbed a bite to eat,
By
walked
the
around,
way,
and
Buffalo
walked out.
orders are amazing.
I thought my Philly was pretty good.
Yeah, you mentioned it was really good. So all in all, Maeda, fun time, fun track. If you've never been to Thunder Hill and you truly love racing cars and you really want to go fast, the hill, as they call it, that is the place to go. It looks like the hand of God carved a track out of the farmland.
Yep.
And it's red clay. It's not this sandy type dirt. It's not black dirt. It's red clay.
And every time I've been down there, it stays fairly smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a sheet of glass all the time, all the way around, but it's actually really smooth the majority of the time.
The heat race and the Sport Mod heat races, there was a hole in one. I hit it pretty darn hard. When your glasses come in sideways and you see 4 of every car, oh boy, that's an experience. But by the time the feature came out, the track was racy. I wouldn't consider it tacky. I wouldn't have considered it dry slick, but it was very racy, very multi-lane, very multi-lane. If you think Thunder Hill is a 1-lane type track, no. The banking's got enough, or the track's got enough banking in it, it will make the car stick. Now, if you want a dry slick track, that's hard. The very next night, we go to
Stewart, Iowa, Stewart International.
Yeah, Stewart International Speedway. And folks, that was probably the dry slickest track I've been on this year. Actually very smooth, very, very smooth. And the promoter told us right up front, he goes, it's going to be slick. There's not a lot of water on it. It got dusty, yes. Was it like unsafe dusty? No.
No.
There was a couple of times that I thought it was a little aggressive on the dust. But I think that's when a car on the back straightaway got up into the fine silt on the very outside wall and it kicked up some dust there, so not a big deal. But where I was running in the feature, I was fine. But very, very, very slick. If you've got anything that's got much over 50 horsepower, you ain't gonna need it.
Right.
That is no joke, folks. Stewart, Iowa is a fun track. It's got some banking to it. I'm gonna say it's a little bit bigger than a quarter mile. Crate motored Sport Mod's gonna run a 567 gear there.
I was gonna say you can do a 67 and an 83. Both of them will be a good option.
When it's dry slick like it was the other night, I don't think the 83 had been a good option.
No.
Not as dry slick as that thing was. Chuck Vanderheiden, man, he does a good job with that track. We weren't there, but in fact, we weren't even in the pit gate, and he's hauling the mail across the pits on his little Kubota sport utility vehicle, whatever that thing is. He's like, what are y'all doing here? Racing? Did you want us to go home?
Yeah. Yeah, because, well, I still had the trailer hanging out on the road. Truck wasn't even all the way through the gate, and he stops us, and I'm like, well, we thought we'd come out and race tonight.
Yeah, they actually, this is my 3rd or 4th time racing Stewart. They had a class there, and I don't know if you ever got to watch these things, the little trucks.
I have. Iowa State Fair Speedway used to run them.
Oh, those little, well, no, at Iowa State Speedway, the trucks they had there, though, had like the 10.5 to 1 compression motors.
It was like a stock car with a pickup body then.
The trucks that
but
were
these
at
were
Stewart.
smaller, yes.
Those are bone dead stock, limited slip rear ends. Not even posi. The only racing part allowed on these are used Hoosiers. That's it. I got to drive one. There was I want to say it was the red 95, I think it was. It was either a red 95 or a white 95. Those trucks actually came from Clark County Speedway, Osceola, Iowa. And one night they let me drive it. They're like, just don't wreck it or you buy it. Okay. I drove one and it was a blast. It was a blast. Didn't get to see him run at Stewart, but I can imagine that with as dry slick as that track was, they probably handled pretty good. Really good racing in the hobby stocks. Wow.
I missed the hobby race.
The hobby race was really, really good. The heat races and the hobbies were really good. I know you and I were standing up there trying to remember, it's slipping my mind. I can see him going 2 and 3 wide on the dry slick in the hobbies, and nobody was really pulling away from anybody. I know John Watson was there in the hobbies. I think Andrew Berg was there, but I'm not for sure in the hobbies. I'm pretty sure he was there. I think the best storyline coming out of Stewart last night, though, by far, Adam Armstrong. Getting his first feature win at Stewart.
Yep, and granted, he started pole. Sean Cooney ran second. He started outside pole. But those two, if it wasn't bumper to bumper, it was door to door. And it came down to 3 and 4 of the last lap, and Adam found just a little bit more traction and pulled it off.
You know, really, in that whole feature, I don't think anybody was really moving or doing anything.
No.
The track was so dry slick, you couldn't, I mean, as much as I love Stewart, outside of Adam and Cooney putting on the show, the rest of it was pretty boring. I mean, really.
Well, and when a track gets that smooth and that slick, basically all you can do is just fall into line and ride around. Unless somewhere, somehow, you can find a little bit of traction to get by somebody, but on a track surface like that, you're not going to.
I can't remember if it was Austin or Clint, but it might have been Austin. He was like 2 or 3 cars ahead of me. I'm watching him.
That was Clint, because if I remember right, Austin ran 3rd or 4th.
Oh. Well, either way, one of the Llewellyns was, 2, 3 cars ahead of me. And I'm watching him try to run the high side, and well, he ain't doing nothing. I went to the high side and I was like, well, this ain't working, so I had to go back down to the bottom. But stands looked good, had a great car count. I want to thank Cole Ferguson and his dad for the tires. Much appreciated. Stewart was just a fun time. Yeah. So here in this next week coming up, which will be the weekend of August 13th, we're going to take a weekend off of racing. Our weekly season's done. August 19th, which will be this upcoming Friday when you guys see this show, that will be, if I can get the gears fixed, that will be the next show for the Razor out at I-80 Speedway. Looking forward to that. I want to go run against Jack Prawl and see if he's gotten any faster yet. But I tell you what, that's about all we got for today's show. We've been on the road for 3 days and we're ready to go take it easy a little bit, kick back and relax. So stay tuned. Same YouTube channel. We'll be back next week here on Slingin' Dirt.